this week's parasha, Parshas Bo, Perek Yud Beis, Pasuk Yud Gimel. So we're going to pick it up. It's the middle of Hashem instructing Moshe to command Klal Yisrael about the mitzvah of the Karban Pesach and all the different halachos associated with it and the way they should conduct themselves. So Pasuk Yud Gimel says, "V'hayu hadam lachem va'osa abatim," and the blood shall be for you for a sign upon the houses asher atam sham, that you are there. V'risi es adam, and I will see the blood. Ufasachti aleichem, and I will skip over you. V'lo yevachem negef, and there will not be a plague of mashchus to destroy ba'kosi v'eretz Mitzrayim when I hit the land of Egypt. So Rashi says, "V'risi es adam," and I will see the blood. Hakol galu lefanav, all is revealed in front of Hashem. Rashi really is quoting Bechilta. And they're bothered by the following question, that why is it that Hashem needed Klal Yisrael to put blood on the doorposts of their homes in order to mark the homes that these are the homes of a Jew, to inform Hashem to skip over it? But isn't Hashem informed of everything? Doesn't Hashem know everything? Everything's revealed to Hashem. So Hashem knows that there are Jews in this house, and he doesn't need the blood to identify it for him. So why is Hashem giving a mitzvah to put the blood and mark the door? What's the point? So Ella, rather, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, no saying, Ani es einai, I'm going to place my eyes, literally liros, to see me, and I'm going to focus my eyes to see, Sha'atem asukim b'mitzvot, so that you are involved and engaged in my commandments, Ufaseach ani aleichem, and then I will skip over you. Meaning, it's not that Hashem is going to identify the house through the blood, and without that he couldn't identify it. Of course Hashem could identify the inhabitants of the house even without the blood. Rather, Hashem is going to pay attention to see that there's blood on the door, meaning that the people inside have fulfilled the mitzvah given to them, and then, as the Mechilta puts in the schus of that mitzvah, they'll be saved, and Hashem will not destroy them, and he'll skip over them. And at first glance, we see from here something very interesting, that, even though it comes out, Hashem doesn't really need this mitzvah that he gave the people. He doesn't need their help to identify the people in the house and to skip over them. But Hashem gave them this mitzvah so that they should be able to have schar, and through that, they could ultimately be saved. But I think if we look at the psukim further in the pasuk, and Rashi brings another drasha, we see that it goes much further than that, because the pasuk says, "V'lo yevachem negef," there should not be amongst you a plague. Ava havahu b'mitzrayim, but there will be amongst the Egyptians. Meaning the pasuk is emphasizing it won't be amongst you a plague, but of course the plague will go amongst the Egyptians. And then Rashi explains, if there was a Egyptian in the house of a Jew, you might think he'll be saved. There won't be amongst you a plague. It will be in the Egyptian amongst your house. And if you had a Jew in the house of an Egyptian, I might say that I should derive from here that he'll get afflicted, he'll get hit, he'll be punished just like the Egyptian. There will not be any plague amongst you. So Rashi says, not only is it that now Hashem will sort of say skip over the Jew's house and focus only on the Egyptian's house, it's much more than that. Even if there's an Egyptian in the Jew's house, that Egyptian is still going to get afflicted and affected by the plague. Being in the Jew's house is not going to save him, and vice versa. If you have a Jew and a Mitzri in an Egyptian's house, so just because he's not in a Jewish house and there's no blood on the door, he's still not going to be afflicted, and he'll be saved. Nothing's going to happen to him. So it comes out that not only was putting the blood on the door unnecessary, Hashem could have identified which houses were Jewish without it, but it comes out Hashem is not even using it. It's not even being utilized, because you could have Egyptians in the Jewish house, and they're not getting saved. Hashem is going to look independently at the house and see who are the inhabitants, and vice versa. You could have a Jew in a Mitzri house. There's no blood on the door, and yet he's not going to be impacted. Again, Hashem is going to individually look and inspect who the inhabitants are and decide who to spare and who to is going to be affected. So if that's the case, then it comes out that not only did Hashem not need this, but Hashem's not even using it. And if so, then why is Hashem giving us this mitzvah, this commandment? And the answer is, as the Mechilta really says, because Hashem wanted to give Klal Yisrael a schus, so that they would have something going for them, so that they could be zocha to be spared from this plague, so that they shouldn't be impacted by it. And we see from here, I think, an incredible idea that, a lot of times a person may think, when you do a mitzvah, you're in some level, some way, shape, or form, we feel sometimes that we're, almost doing Hashem a favor, or helping Hashem out. All right, Hashem, I'll do it for you begrudgingly, okay, I'll help you out, as if Hashem needs our service. And we see from here that not only does Hashem not need our help, but someone might think, okay, but at least I am helping. Maybe Hashem could have done it without me. Like somebody carries a box up steps for someone. Maybe the person could have done it themselves, but I saved them a trip. They're at least using what I did. But we see from here that not only does Hashem not need what we did, Hashem could have done it without us, but Hashem doesn't even use what we did. It's not helping Hashem at all. It's not saving Hashem, so to say, any work or anything like that. It doesn't do anything for Hashem. In no way, shape, or form are we doing for Hashem. In fact, the only one that we're doing for is ourselves. We're the ones who benefit from it. It has nothing to do with Hashem. And Hashem gives us this mitzvah solely, as the Mechilta says, just so that we can be the recipients of the schar, of the reward that Hashem wants to give us and the good that Hashem wants to give us. And through that, we're closer to Hashem, etc. But we're not doing anything for Hashem. And the more that we can appreciate this, so then a person, besides for obviously having the right outlook and the right attitude and the right understanding towards a mitzvah, but it can make mitzvahs much easier to do, because when I feel like, I'm doing for you, so I'm not in the mood of doing for you right now. I'm not interested in doing this. It's not personally beneficial to me, or even if it is personally beneficial to me, but okay, I could, I'm not so interested in helping you right now. So, I'm not going to do it. But when we realize that the whole purpose of this mitzvah is solely for me, Hashem gets nothing out of it. Hashem is, so to say, bending over backwards to create situations where He can create opportunities for us to do a mitzvah so that we can get reward that Hashem wants to give us and endow us with and shower upon us and all the good that Hashem wants to give us. And the more that we appreciate that, then the more we can be energized and charged to do the mitzvah and to take advantage of the opportunity. Because when we realize that the only one who's benefiting from it is us, and that Hashem is not gaining anything from it, there's no, so to say, forgive the language, selfish motivations here on Hashem's part. And it's not for Hashem. Sometimes when it's helping someone else out, even if it helps me out, I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to help the other person. But when I'm helping Hashem, Hashem is not using it. Not only does Hashem not need it, Hashem is not using it. And still, Hashem gives it to us. It's just for us. It's solely for us, solely for our benefit. And we're the only ones who gain from it. And when you appreciate that someone is offering you an incredible opportunity, imagine someone said, I'm giving you the opportunity to make $1 million. I get nothing from it. So first of all, how indebted will we feel to that person? How thankful will we to that person? So this can totally transform our attitude towards a mitzvah. Not only can it make it that it's not a burden and we don't do it begrudgingly, it can create a feeling, first of all, appreciation, which is really true, of thanks towards Hashem and appreciating the kindness that Hashem has bestowed upon us to give us these opportunities. But as well, once we realize that it does nothing for Hashem, it's solely for us, so then we can be much more energized to take advantage of the opportunities, and through that actually make sure to take advantage of the opportunities, perform them in different ways than we've done in the past with greater enthusiasm, and making sure never to let opportunities slip through our hands. And through that, we could, in fact, as Hashem be zocheh to all the schar and all the good that Hashem wants to shower upon us, and come closer to Hashem, and be zocheh to ultimately do many, many more mitzvos, and be zocheh to more and more good that Hashem wants to shower upon us.